Hey guys, welcome back to Imperium Goddess Diaries. On today's episode, is New Age spirituality perpetuating laziness? Now, this can be a little bit of a controversial topic, but it's something that I've been observing for a little while, and this is just my 2 cents and what I've seen. Don't mind me, I'm wearing like a robe. This video, I just feel a little bit housewife here, just made an apple crumble. So yeah, let's talk about the fact that it's perpetuating our laziness. Let's get started. Now, I'm saying this out of a place of love, and obviously take it or leave it. But in the times that I've experienced my awakening, for the past 4 or 5 years, moving forwards, jumping into a realm that I feel seen and heard and understood, the common themes that I've seen, especially lately, is this kind of circular motion of getting stuck in like a healer's journey. Now, this isn't the healer's journey that you hear about of like people who are actually healers in this lifetime. This is just like the kind of the notion that as soon as you get triggered by something, as soon as something comes up, you go back into healing. It's like your whole life stops and you go back into your healing journey. This is just one of the things that I wanted to discuss. So I've seen this, and I was like this, I had to just really focus on this healing. I had to focus on getting better. I had to focus on fixing this trigger. I had to focus on this level of shadow work, and I wasn't even doing it properly. So I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing, but I was doing something. And just cutting everything off, stopping everything, stopping my whole life just because I needed to clear this out. And constantly feeling like I needed to fix myself, and constantly feeling like you need to work on yourself so much and everything else stopped. And it got to the point where like just the general mundane task or general day-to-day would just seem like too much, because then I'm just too much in the 3D. I'm too I just can't handle being outside. It's just too much. And yes, I'm also a highly sensitive person and empath, so I get it. I get being outside is difficult, but it's almost like are we creating like this bubble around us, and we're just not equipped for outside life, like daily life, normal life in the human space that we've chosen to be in. These are the kind of things that I think is quite interesting, because it's almost like as soon as something is wrong with you, we'll grab onto it and we're going to run with that for like however many months or years. Like, we need to work on that. We cannot be fulfilled. We are not who we are. We are not whole until we fix that. And it's just this like notion that we are not okay until we've fixed our things, and then we just kind of lose sight of everything else in our life. And I've seen this happen, and I've been like this in some way, and I just feel like, is it just an excuse for us to be lazy? Is it kind of an excuse for us to just not want to do anything? Because also, spiritual laziness can come in the form of like, I feel aligned to doom scroll for 4 hours as opposed to maybe going out and doing exercise, or maybe even watching something constructive, read a book. If you don't read a book, listen to an audiobook. Do something that makes your brain think, that makes your body move, makes you feel calm. But it's like, no, I'm going to do this because this feels good for me. And it's just like, is that just like another excuse, like another like flowery excuse for just us to be lazy? I've been thinking about this for a while, and this also comes down to astrological events and ascension energy symptoms. At any chance, we're told that we need to rest. And this is all the time. Like, I'm not even kidding you. I can't tell you how many pages that I follow that come up, and they're just like, this is happening, this event's happening. You need to lay down, you need to drink water, rest as much as you can, go outside. And while all those things are great, it's just fucking practical for everyone. Like, it's just not. If you just every day, all the time, like, when are we going to get a break? When are we going to break from always having a break? That didn't come out right. But when are we going to be able to just facilitate life normally? Taking appropriate breaks, taking the appropriate rest, the intuitive rest, in a good amount of time, not rotting ourselves for days on end, not saying I can't do this because the moon cycle is doing this. I've been so fucking tired this whole moon cycle, And every day I still went and got up and just did the little things that I could do. The things that I'm still able to do. And so I know that I've ticked them off. Do you know what I mean? I feel like, you know, we're just using things as excuses now because it's great and it's trendy. And I don't find that's using it in the right way. It's just not for me using the celestial movement and the ascensions in the right way. And all the things like drink more water, go outside, that's all things that we should be really doing anyway. Do you know what I mean? We should be drinking water every day. Just even if you don't like it, add some lemon to it, add a flavor. I don't care, like just something natural. We should be going outside. It's not that hard to just have a little bit of discernment. I feel like because we have so much information all the time out in the ethers, we have, you know, the internet is just cycling constant information. And I feel like a lot of the time our hand is getting held. And so I feel like we're kind of disconnecting from our own version of spirituality. And we're like, okay, well, we've got an eclipse season coming up, so I'm just going to do nothing this whole time. But then what happens to you after that eclipse season and all this shit that didn't get done? Are you going to sit and you beat yourself up over it? Do you know, I just feel like we like revolving in circles and just perpetuating laziness, perpetuating like an excuse because we feel like it's okay because we have astrological events coming, or I'm going through like another trigger, so I need to stop doing everything for weeks. Is that functional? Like, is that functional? And I'm coming this from another perspective. I just feel like we need to come to a place where we need to really blend, and this is my whole thing, blending the 5D into the 3D and just working with it, because whether you fucking like it or not, you are in a meat suit right now. What does that come with? Everything. Everything you see here, everything you experience here, that is what comes with it. That includes living this life. If you want to live in the bush, if you want to be on psychedelics every day and just vibe, that's great. Those kinds of lifestyles is not attainable for everybody. We don't live back in the BC where we could just vibe like that all the time. But do you know what? Back then, they were so deeply connected to all of the wisdom, the ancient wisdom, everything. They knew everything. They had access to it because they were connected to the divine constantly. Because do you know why? Because they had no fucking distractions. There's not a lot else to do than to study the stars and study the plants, study energy, study what animals do and how everything works. They had the opportunity to do all of these things. And I spoke in my live last night. If you're watching this on Thursday, this is last night. I spoke in my live. We don't have time to do 5-hour rituals. We don't have time to do very, very long. A lot of us just don't. Spirituality has moved with us, and it has moved us to be modern with us. So we also can do that back. We can also be that as well and work with what we can. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at the moment, and I would love to hear what everyone thinks about it, because, you know, I've also seen it used in the way of, it's almost like using the stars as an excuse for your own shit. And the stars aren't here to be an excuse for you. The stars are here to help you and help you learn and help you understand and help you evolve. But using like a retrograde as an excuse because I can't go anywhere, there's something else going on. That's showing you, that's a mirroring you and what you have to work on. However you decide for that to be, whether to be, you know, energetic therapies, you know, obviously psychotherapies, anything that you need to work on, and whatever calls to you. And if it's shown to you during a particular astrological season or an ascension event, or even if you're just going through like a big ego death, spiritual depression, look at it. Ask how can I fix this? What can I learn from this? What can I do with this? So that the next time you have an astrological event, the next time an ascension event happens, you're not so rocked on your feet. Because it just doesn't make sense to always feel so shit every time. You shouldn't feel shit all the time. And I know it is multiple, before anyone comes to me, is multiple factors. We have our food isn't as nutritious as it used to be. Our water is garbage, our air, radiation everywhere. I know that we don't have, nothing's as pure as it used to be, and I get that. But there's so many ways that you can work towards ways of better wellness to make it as best as you can. So that thing in my head is really annoying me. So if we're doing all of the good things, if we're eating the good foods, moving the body, doing the mind, making our space beautiful, working towards something, working towards our higher self, our North Node, our destiny points, and growing and evolving, these events shouldn't feel like we're getting knocked on our feet every time. If you are knocked on your feet at certain astrological events, it's a mirror. It's either A, you probably haven't slowed down enough in a while, or there's just things that you really need to look at. But it shouldn't be every time. And you can go through life while Mercury is in retrograde. You fucking can. Like, no one can say anything otherwise. Before this was even a thing, before this was popular, all I knew was the full moon. So I didn't, many years ago, I didn't really know about retrogrades much or at all, but I knew about moon phases, and I always felt different around the moon. What did I do? I worked with it. Let's go. And then you awaken, you get more cluey about it, you feel more, your intuition starts to spike up, and you start to understand it a little bit more. And then obviously all of the other events, triggers come up. And for a while I was just slumping and I felt like it was kind of all coming on top of me. Then I realized, I was like, I can't live like this. I can't live in this state of constantly like sitting in meditation, waiting for answers. I need to go out and do it myself. It's the doing that actually gets you the answers. And I believe that as to a point, we need to connect with our intuition a lot more. What can you still do? What can you still bring to the table for yourself? Because a lot of the time we'll go through life, especially if you're in this space, you go through life, experience something. Before your awakening, you kind of trudged on. This is for a specific kind of people. You kind of trudged on a little bit. And I feel like we can still do that, but we can still work our lives at the same time, because I feel as though it's because I don't know, I'm kind of seeing it in a way of like, can spirituality make us, and the whole movement, the whole new age movement, can it make us a little bit more sensitive and soft and not able to kind of stand up and go, hey, I can actually do this, because we need to believe in ourselves a little bit more. That's it. I don't know if we believe ourselves enough, and we are constantly looking for someone to hold our hand through our journey. We're constantly looking for answers. We're looking to be seen, and I get it. Like, I was the same, but it's actually up to no one but you. And no fucking moon phase and anything is going to tell you that you can't do something. They're actually telling you what you can do and what you need to look at. They're always, all the events, ascensions, they're always here for your growth. That's all they're here for. This planet is growing at a rapid rate. Time is moving like this. Like, I've never experienced time shifts like this in my lifetime. There's days where I go through, I remember everything, and sometimes I barely remember the morning, because everything's moving. Everything is moving so fast. And before you know it, it's going to be in 20 years' time. That's how quick it is. I feel like I'm living in the same moment. This is where it's got to this point, and it's going to get a little bit trippy. I'm living in the same moment, but I'm just watching like the days go past. That is time. That is time. It's moving, and you want to live your best life. You want to live your highest timeline. And there's so many people that are attracting that. There's so many people who are really well versed in that. There's so many people who are experiencing that, and that is amazing. And I just don't want you to feel like you've been sitting in your journey, in your healer's journey, in your trigger journeys, in whatever journeys, because you feel like that's the only way for you to work. You are so much stronger than that. And yes, the universe is bigger than us, but we're actually made of the same fucking thing. And I sit there and I've pondered this so many times. I've said, like, I'm actually the universe, just in my own way, focused lens on my world. I'm trying to get this out the right way. You're the same. You're made up of the same things. Higher power guidance is available to us. Yes, everything is written out to a point. We also have free will. You have free will to choose how you move through these events and these things, and to grow. Because if you're still getting knocked down by all of these things, there's just so much for you to work on. But it's also like your inner strength. And I think that maybe we need to remember the times that, say, for example, we had that inner strength and we fought through. And how good do we feel after it? How good do we feel when we came out of something? We're just like, I succeeded that. I did that. You still can do anything, unless you just, succumb to the idea that you can't. But you actually can. And the universe is here to help you. It is here to guide you. It is here to give you what you need to move forward and just help you grow. So that's like, I kind of like spit rambled like I do every time. I don't really write down. I write down a few things, then I just like spitfire. So sometimes I ramble, sometimes it might not make sense, but it mostly does make sense to me. But I barely actually watch these back. I just fling these out on YouTube and hope for the best. So, moral of this video, the point of this video is you don't have to succumb to anything. Know when you need time to relax, know when you need time for rest and rejuvenation, but then also know that you can pick yourself back up every time. Because every time you do so and you try, each time it gets easier and you will get better at it. And there'll be less times that you're just going to feel like doing this when it's like an eclipse season. Yeah, I'll leave you guys there. If you like this video, make sure you like it, share it around, subscribe, you know the vibes. And I will see you guys next week.